I hope you're doing well. Like I said, I'm trying to switch around these different places in the cottage to do these videos because I don't know if you guys noticed it before, but there was a huge echo because, like, I think I told you guys that we don't have, I don't have any throw rugs in there. And so our whole cottage is just concrete floors, right? Because we're renovating and, going to do wood floors and then that kind of thing. But anyway, so I'm like switching around how I do these videos and everything. And so, oh my gosh, do you guys like my bonnet? I'm like sporting the bonnet today. Anyway, okay, so what I wanted to talk to you about on this video is about being your true, authentic self and just owning how you want to dress and how you want to be, right? Because I really think that how someone dresses is very much an indication of what their personality is saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, have you ever looked at someone and you're like, you love the fact that they wear like bright red lipstick and like that's their little signature thing? Or I know that when I used to, and I still do, but I haven't done it quite often as much as I used to, is to wear my bangles. And I'll go into another story another day on another video about why I don't wear them quite as much. But, I think we're always evolving and growing and expanding. And so I'm just, into like different things right now. And I've always kind of been like that. But so let me go back to the reason that this was a subject that I wanted to talk about. And that is, it was another area in my life that became a very big struggle for me because I have always been, like, even if you knew me when I was a young girl, I would actually have my girlfriend's mom, and this was when I was probably in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, right? I would have my girlfriend, she lived on like a chicken farm, and I would go and stay with her a lot. Like she was my best friend at the time. And so we rode the bus together and went to school together and all that kind of stuff. And we both were just, young girls, and we were into that kind of thing. And so her mom sewed really well, and she would make all of these beautiful prairie dresses with the bonnets and the matching blouses, the cotton little Peter Pan collars and the petticoats underneath them and everything. And she would make them in like every color under the rainbow. And I loved them so much. And so anytime that she would make her those dresses, I would always beg my friend. I'm like, because my mother didn't sew. And so I would beg her to let me wear her dresses because we were the same size and everything. And I loved it. I mean, anytime my mom would always buy me clothes, I always wanted dresses, like sundresses, skirts. I mean, I always dressed like that. And I think you guys may have read this blog post that I did, or did I not do it? Maybe I just started it and I drafted it. I think I never published it. Gosh, I need to get on that. But anyway, so, I would go through my entire life and I was always different. Even in high school, I was different, and after I had kids, and I think it was like my 1st or 2nd child, and I still would, okay, let me back up. So in middle school and everything, and then in high school, I was doing this program, and it's sort of like a Girl Scout program, but it was like young women program in the Mormon faith. And so they had this thing called personal progress. So I wanted to learn how to sew because I was just always interested in it, and I always wanted to learn how to do it so I could make curtains and different things like that. That was initially why I wanted to do it at first, because of the design aspect of it. And so what I did is I like petitioned my aunt to see if she would teach me to sew, because she would make beautiful little prairie dresses for my cousin, which she was probably, I'm thinking she was probably 10 to 15 years younger than maybe not quite that old, but she was significantly younger than me. And she would wear these bonnets. That's why I'm wearing this today in like homage to her, you know. And she would make these bonnets to match the dresses and the really gathered up skirts and cute little, with the little pearly buttons and everything for the shirts. And this little niece of mine, well, my cousin, this little cousin of mine was the cutest with her little blonde curls coming out of the bonnets. And especially, I mean, at Easter time, oh dear, she was the cutest thing ever, like a precious thing. And so I wanted, in high school, I was like, I'm going to ask my aunt if she will teach me how to sew. Because at the time, I had also gotten the job at Wiki Wachi, where that was where I was a professional mermaid. Well, at the time, Wiki Wachi was going through financial, being financially strapped. Like they were about to lose the part because ABC actually used to own Wiki Wachi at the time. And so they were switching over because ABC had sold it. They didn't want to have anything else to do with it. And so it was actually going to be like closed down. And so we would have to work and sew and mend our own costumes when we were doing shows and stuff as a mermaid, right? So I was really interested in that. Like I would go in there and I would, make us, tail and sew sequins on and make our tops and just all kinds of really cool stuff. And so I was always experimenting. And so I was like, I think I'm going to ask my aunt to teach me how to sew, because how much better you can, like, if you see something and you're like, oh my gosh, I love that so much, I don't want to pay $400 for it, but I can totally make it myself, right? And so that's kind of how I learned to like just strip, like I'll buy an antique piece or something, or a piece that is expensive, but do it because I want to take it apart, just like I was showing you guys on my social media, I guess like a week or two ago for Halloween. That's what I did. I bought like an antique shirt, or I didn't buy it. My girlfriend actually gave it to me, but I wanted it because I could take it completely apart and realize how they had made it, so I can create my own pattern and stuff. And so that's the beautiful thing about desiring to do things, and wearing things that make you happy. And so, my channel is all about love, and my channel is all about being happy and loving ourselves. And so I think that was one of the biggest difficulties as one of the things in my life that I desired to do. And that was to, like I said, even throughout in my early 20s, mid to late 20s, I actually, mended and made all my skirts and my petticoats. And a lot of times I would buy little cute little lacy tops and stuff because they were easily accessible, and they kind of fit that whole look, if they had the cute little puffy sleeves and stuff like that. And so I would do that, and I would wear, like I had gotten some Victorian lace-up boots and everything, and I wish I would have never gotten rid of them, but I mean, life goes on, right? I just need to find some more. Anyway, if anybody ever knows, like DM me if you know of any place that I can find really cool Victorian shoes. Like I've looked on every like European websites and everything, and they do have some, like they've even had some at Victoria Trading Company, but I want the real leather. Like I don't want imitation leather, and I don't want black boots. And so a lot of times I will find them and they will either be not real leather, or they will be like $800. So I don't want to spend that much on them. I would rather spend $100 on an authentic pair of Victorian boots, right? But because those shoes back in the day were so like slender, the women's feet were so slender, that I've had a struggle. I found one pair in Oklahoma one time, and I put them on layaway, and then actually, you guys know what all happened there. I ended up moving, and so I never went back to get them, but they were the perfect size, and I should have got them. And plus, like I said, I want a brown leather pair. I don't want a black pair, and I know that was a more common color back in the day, but that's what I want anyway. So if you guys ever see boots, and probably I could wear an 8 because of the pointed toe on them. But I don't know why I got to rambling. So we're just going to visit. How about that? We're just going to visit, and you can look at me and my little bonnet. Is it so cute? Oh my God, I love this bonnet, you guys. I bought this originally because I wanted to, I didn't tie it, but I originally bought this because I wanted to use it as a pattern, but I actually found an 1800s pattern with this cute little brim and everything, so I didn't need to destroy this, which was lovely, and I'm so happy about that, because this has that beautiful mauve and the green color and that mustardy color, which are my three, other than chocolate brown, you guys, that's like my favorite colors in the whole world. Like, I don't know if you noticed that, but like my magnolia pearl little over jacket and everything, and my dress has mauvey, pinky, purpley flowers on it and everything. So I feel so unified today in color. But anyway, okay, so let's go back to where I was. So as my kids were growing up and they were toddlers, like my two oldest, this was when I started to fall away from my true authentic self and being transparent, because I allowed other people, you know, and I won't name names, but I allowed other people to, let me explain something, and I'm sure you guys can relate to me, especially girls, like young girls too, is that sometimes we're so, we don't realize it, but when people say things to us, like, it's a psychological fact that someone can tell you 100 things beautiful about yourself, but if they say one thing negative about you that's not beautiful, you will remember the negative thing instead of the 100 beautiful things that someone said about you. And so over a course of time, I was completely kind of like in a side-swipey kind of way. I was, you know, deterred away from wearing, you know, primitive looking clothes or calico skirts and dressing like Laura Ingalls Wilder, basically, you know. And it was kind of like, you know, being embarrassed in front of me. And so I would, you know, be a spectacle, and people would not want to like go in public with me or be seen with me and that kind of thing. And so it really started to have a huge effect on me, because I was in my 20s and I really didn't have a sense of true identity, because I had already started to pinch myself off from my true inner being. And so I just gradually started to transform in a negative way, you know, and become someone that I wasn't. And because I wasn't secure, it was like, you know, I don't care what people think about me. Like, I don't care. And I would say that, but see, that was contradicting. And that's like the number one thing about law of attraction is you can sit there and you can all day long say affirmations and all these different things. Like, I don't really care what people think about me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. I'm going to dress how I want to. But if you really have like a negative, like if I just said that in that way, like, I don't really care what you think, right? You're telling the universe not what you're saying, like, I don't really care. You're actually, through your vibrational frequency and energy, you're saying you actually do care. So you're going to get, I mean, this is what happened to me. I was going to get more of people ridiculing me or saying little swipey little comments, or like, I'm not going in public with you, you look ridiculous, or drop me off here, or like, no, we're not going to go to the grocery store because I'm not going to be seen with you looking like that, you know. And it was just me like wearing long skirts and, you know, little capes or whatever. I mean, and I wrote on my social media today that it was kind of like, can you imagine going to like Walmart with Tasha Tudor back in the day? I mean, she lived till what, 2004? Is that how long she lived? And I would think, like, I wonder what it was like to go with her, to the grocery store or the farmer's market or something. Did she carry a little basket, or did she take a recyclable bag, or did her grandkids go and she never really left the house much? I don't know. Those kind of things fascinate me about my idols. And so she was a total mentor she is a total mentor to me. And so I was thinking about little things like that, but I'm like, she'd probably give two flips about what people thought about her. She did not care even one bit. And that's one thing that I loved about her, is that she was just like, sit and spin, because this is how it's going down. You know what I mean? She was like, no man was going to tell her what to do, and her kids, and nobody was going to tell her what to do. Even like publishers and stuff. I think that's half the time why she didn't get as much work until after her death, is because she was like not going to put up with people's crap, and she always used to say, the only reason that I ever sold my art the way that I did was because there was always a wolf at the door, which means that people were always wanting, her husband, her exes were always wanting for her to make more money. Mother, make more money. Mother, make more money. I guess that's what her exes would call her. Anyway, yeah, I'm rambling, but don't you love it? Don't you like it, girls? Maybe it's rocking the bonnet. I don't know. What do you think? But anyway, my whole point to this video was that to remember that it's so important that we do not pinch ourselves off from who we truly, truly are. Because ultimately, I think, ultimately we will always come back. I'm hoping that this is my inspiration, as this is my greatest desire and hope, is that we all, even if we are pinched off from our inner being and our inner guidance system, that we will end up coming back, like recircling around. You know what I mean? It's like, even though it might take us a long time and we go on a little voyage for a couple of years, like I was just watching this video this morning on the news about this lady that had, her mother had passed, and she put a message in a bottle for her mom because she wanted to travel around the world. And 4.5 years later, someone found it, and it was her ashes in the bottle. And it was a lovely little cellophane story about her life and everything. And so she basically got to travel the world through the oceans. And so even though it took her 4 years to travel around the world, and she was, non-physical, she was probably still enjoying that. Like, I really believe that these little spirits are still around us everywhere. We never really truly die, And so, if you feel like you've been pinched off from your inner guidance system, and maybe you haven't wanted to because I used to have people tell me, no, you need to dress like this. No, you need to tuck in your shirt. No, you need to wear a belt that matches your shoes. And this is how you need to dress. And you need to coordinate your colors. And you need to make sure that you don't do stripes and polka dots and solids and all this kind of, don't do lines, don't do stripes, And it's like, I think that it is another aspect of us listening to other people because maybe they're afraid to be their authentic self. And I remember when I was probably 34, and I, used to attend church a lot, and I had probably 75 or more plus Victorian, beautiful, different, like, hats and caps and straw hats and just big brimmed hats, cowboy hats. Any kind of hat you could think of, I had it. And I had my go-tos, the ones that I really, really loved and everything. And then I had all my bandanas and all that kind of stuff. Well, on Sundays, I love to get dressed up because I could wear beautiful skirts and jackets and those sort of beautiful things, If you go to a Southern church if you go to a church in the Southern states, a lot of times, like, black women will wear, beautiful hats, and it's like a normal thing. Well, it wasn't normal. So when I moved to Utah, I loved to be able to wear my hats, especially because you had those beautiful seasons, And so I remember this lady, she came up to me, and she was a very elegant and, like, sophisticated and classy woman, and I just adored her. And she came up to me and she goes, I have probably 12 hats that are beautiful, like tea party hats. And she said, I have them in their boxes and I've never worn them. And I said, you have totally got to wear them, because I would wear mine every Sunday. And I literally was the only woman in the entire congregation that had a hat on. Like literally the only one. And so I would just prance in there every Sunday, like no big deal, you know. And it was so funny because this lady was like in her 60s, and she came the next day. I said, okay, let's make a deal. Like everybody that has a hat, why don't we all wear them so you won't feel like an oddball out, right? Like she was going to try on her new identity with her hat. And so she's like, okay, if you promise you'll wear one, I'll get my other friend Gail to wear one, and other friend Sandy to wear one, and we'll all wear one, and then, you know, it won't be so odd. Well, then after that, she was able to wear them comfortably, and I felt like that was kind of cool because it kind of inspired her to be authentic with herself. You know what I mean? Like she had always wanted to, but she was kind of nervous. Like she just needed someone else to like carve the path for her maybe a little bit. And so after that, it was just the coolest thing, because she would come to church and we were the only two women. All the other girls flaked. Like they were just like, no, hats aren't for me. I don't look good in a hat, you know, whatever. But that's a myth. Everybody has a style of hat that they look good in. You just have to find it. But anyway, so my whole point of this video was just to remember to, that's another aspect that I think that is very noticeable, is that the way that you dress, the way that you represent yourself to the world. And so you should be in clothes that make you happy and comfortable, and just have a sense of like happiness and joy, because that's what this world is about. That's what this life is about, is to be happy and joyful. That's all we have. That's why we came, you know? And so if I can put prairie clothes on and pretend that I'm in Little House on the Prairie days, like it's pretty fun in my bubble. Like I like living in this little fairy tale land, you know? And so anyway, that was funny because I told Jeffrey that last night. I'm like, look, it's so fun living in this bubble. You should come live with me. It's totally cool. He's like, I know, babe. You totally live in a fairy tale land, like with the whole rose-colored glasses on and everything. And I'm like, yeah, it's fun. You want to come? He's like, yeah, I know. I married somebody that's fairy tale-ish, and that's cool. So, I don't know. I love living like that. It's a very imaginative, creative place to be. And so I hope this served you. I don't know if it did. And it kind of was more of a rambling, like tea time with Raquel ramblings. You know what I mean? Like, just wanted to sit here and talk to you because I would love to want to visit with you guys every day so that you feel like I'm trying to work on not looking up you guys so much. But I guess it's kind of like a little bad habit that I have. But anyways, I hope you have a great day. I hope this served you. And as always, I'm yours until my next swim. Ciao. Bye. I love you. Oh, and if you want to give a mermaid her fins, subscribe to the button below. Thank